Well, hey everybody, welcome back to Fist and Jawa Save the Universe. I am Fist-25, and today we're going to look at the new hotness. I'm probably late as far as ship reviews go because the ship came out literally yesterday, and it is the brand new MISC Starlancer TAC, the tactical variant of the Starlancer, which is a giant freelancer, maybe not really. It's a big ship. It's got significant firepower and durability over its cousin ship, the Starlancer Max, which is really a cargo variant. And we're going to look at the TAC here and check it out. Well, let's roll that intro and get to it. All right, so here is the TAC, and I do have the sapphire paint livery going on it because I believe I got that when I first bought it. It is the same size as the Starlancer Max, although it should be quite a bit different. To be quite honest, it's the first time I pulled the ship up. I haven't seen it at all, except in some pictures yesterday in the Discord, so my first view is going to be your first view, and I hope that's acceptable. I know as far as the ship goes, it has the same pilot size weapons, right? It has two different turrets here. I don't want to say turrets, pilot controlled guns, one on each side. And they're called the PC2 dual size 4, and they have two size 4 M6A laser cannons for a total of 4 size 4 guns that the pilot controls. That is the same as what's on the Starlancer Max. One of the differences here, though, is looks like there's also two, I don't know if they're pilot controlled or not, but there's missile turrets on this thing too, according to ERKUL, containing a total of 12 Ignite 2s. So that's new. That's different. The Starlancer TAC here also has some remote turrets, both of which there's 2 remote turrets, and they contain 2 size 4 CF447 Rhino laser repeaters, which is the same that the Max had. The difference here is that the TAC, I don't know, I think they're down here. The TAC has 2 manned turrets that have 2 size 5 CF557 Galderine laser repeaters. That is, and these are pointing down, right? Making it tactical, sort of a dropship. That's a huge difference in firepower. Those 4 size 5s are significant and leading to its tactical nature. The TAC here also has a total of 16 size 3 EM Thunderbolt 3 missiles, and that is the same thing that the Starlancer Max has as well. So the missile launchers are bespoke, but of course you can swap out the missiles. The manned turrets are bespoke. You can swap out the guns, and the actual turrets that come with it here are bespoke as well. Although, you can swap out the guns, and these pilot controlled, I guess we'll see, missile turrets are bespoke as well. But you can swap out the missiles. So we're here looking at the starboard side of the ship. Look, it looks good. It looks fantastic. The same as the Starlancer Max, for all intents and purposes here. If you saw my video on that, or you've seen them flying around the verse, then you've seen them. They got these horizontal stabilizers over here. They kind of look like wings. I hope those will move in the future to provide a directional control when we have actual atmospheric flight. Same type of engines as the Starlancer Max, although it is slower than the Starlancer Max. I think these are those missile launchers, and they're rear facing. So these should be pilot controlled. I'm guessing. We're gonna find out as we mess around with this ship. That's pretty neat. It's been so long since I've seen the original concept advertisement for it that sometimes I forget. And there is a million ships in Star Citizen right now. It's hard to keep track of everything. The Starlancer TAC does have room for 96 SCU of cargo, but I don't think it has the cargo bays like the Starlancer Max does that are up here on the sides. I don't know if it has any kind of entrance or anything like that for it either. I highly doubt it. It doesn't look like it. It looks like it's the area for the man turret. Looks like this is an entrance location. Calling an elevator. Pretty neat. Before we get in that elevator, I just want to run over to port side. We were on the starboard side. It looks like here's the escape hatch, or the well, I don't know if I would call it a docking port because it's not really going to dock, but maybe I'm not close enough for it. Nope, I guess maybe we can only get that in space. I'm just looking for other little Easter eggs. Open door for the fuel port. I wonder when that gameplay is going to be in. Big guns here for the man turret. It looks like there's like a little cargo area here, but I'm not quite sure on how to open it. We might have to wait till we get on the inside of the ship before we see that. And I would assume, yeah, there's a rear entrance up here for a ramp, which we like ramps. Star Citizen, we don't love elevators. I guess I need to put on my helmet because it looks like some of this ship is pretty dark. That way at least I can have a little bit of a light. Okay, we'll close up the ramp. Now, I don't know if this is part of the 96 SU of cargo, but I mean, certainly you can fit vehicles in here. The new MTC for one. I'm sure you can probably fit an Ursa in here for sure. I don't know if it's tall enough for an Ursa, but I like all the sounds that it's making. Sounds like I can hear someone in an Atlas in someone else's hangar. Regardless of that, here's a little window you can see outside, so your passengers in the back don't get air sickness. There is an elevator, 2 elevators in the back that should take you up to the next level. But we will worry about that after we explore the bottom deck here. Opening this door leads into med bay. There we go. Starlancer TAC has a med bay, has 2 med beds in here. Pretty cool. I like that availability, being able to stand off, but if it's really tactical, I mean, I don't know, it's going to be taking quite a bit of fire, but unfortunately nothing is stocked inside the medical here, and those medical servers are just for window dressing. Nothing in the refrigerator here. Looks like here you can access ship storage. 650,000 micro SCU. But I do like having the storage up there. We'll see if there's more storage under the crew quarter beds and things like that. Moving forward, I guess I have to hit the button. Very dark in here. Okay, here's where your crew is actually going to be in here. Interesting. This is 8 seats. This is going to hold a lot of crew for kind of like a tactical dropship. What is this? Is that a door gun? Do these doors open? Oh, I like that. Now, where's that opening on the other side? Or I don't know if it has an opening on this. This is quick crew exfiltration, right? I didn't remember seeing where that could be actuated on the outside. Can we jump up on it? Can we vault ourselves up on it or mantle ourselves? Nope. We can't do that, so we're going to have to go back through the ramp again. But I do like that you can get crew off and on really quick, or I should say off really quick. I don't think we're getting them on very quick doing that, and there is a crew gun on both sides. I guess I like the overall look of that. If we deploy this gun, you know, we're coming in and we're blasting targets down here, one on each side. Seems to work pretty well. I can't seem to aim down the sight anymore. But tracer fire is good enough for me. And can it close? I don't remember how to redeploy that, but we'll close up those doors. Looks like they open on either side. And that's the crew drop area, basically. Moving even more forward on the bottom of the ship, we have, I don't know what we have. We have, don't look like sonobuoys, but missiles. These are the turret locations. Okay, that makes sense. So we'll go ahead and enter, I guess it's a port side turret and turret. Those have to be where missiles are. Cool animation for that. And the turret comes out. And we need to be able to turn on the turret. All right, power's on.
Hello, how can MISC help you today?
A lot of power there. I don't have power because I haven't started the ship. I don't really have power configured for guns. But if we look on the port side here, we can see how this gun kind of looks. Let me zoom in a little bit. I like it. I like where it's at. I don't like how it clips into the bottom of the hangar. I like it. It's going to be a lot of fun going down to like bunker locations and stuff like that in the Starlancer TAC. Will we have enough firepower to take out turrets and things like that? I think that is the hope. And then have our troops drop out, maybe some folks in vehicles, things of that nature. So moving on forward in the ship. Okay, here we have, I don't know. Well, here's the elevator. It's probably still sitting on the deck. Yeah, it was sitting on the deck, waiting for me to enter. And that'll just straight take you down to the bottom. And it'll take you up. There's a ladder that goes up as well. I like the lights on it, showing that you can go up. This is the escape hatch. Good for, you know, space assaults, things like that. Good way to get in, good way to get out. And you might be able to fit in between those and sneak on board. We're just being a weird spot. Okay, and moving forward from here, a bunch of suit lockers. Space for stuff that doesn't, you know, gameplay that doesn't exist other than holding someone prisoner in here, maybe. Because you still ragdoll all over the place. But I do kind of like having this area here. I wish it was a little bit more of an armory, considering this is like a drop ship. Again, this is the bottom of the ship. From the cargo area in the back, vehicle storage, medical, you know, drop troopers, shock troopers, turrets, and like quasi-engineering, I guess. Maybe there's more engineering up top. Speaking of up top, let's go ahead and take the ladder up there. We're going to make a right-hand turn and head all the way to the back. Splits. We're going to start in the rear of the ship on the second deck. Okay, so here is the very rear of the ship is the engine room. Here's where our quantum drive is located, and again, really cool animations on the engines and things like that. This quantum drive is a size 3. No, it's a size 2. It's a size 2 competition grade C Sparkfire. So one of the things I would immediately upgrade along with the main cannons for this ship. Other than that, there's not much I see back here other than just kind of an engine area. It's, you know, an inaccessible location back there. That's really just window dressing and some fog. Cool effects, though. Here is one day we'll be able to use an engineering terminal, and this is where that is going to be. Okay, looks like we're into component areas back here. We don't necessarily have a label for it. Here's a fuse panel right there. We'll open both of them up. Engineering access, engineering access. Well, these are something. I don't quite know what they are, and I don't think it really says what they are. But I can tell you this, those look like shields. This thing does have 2 size 3 shields. They are industrial grade C strongholds, which is a whole nother size 3 shield upgrade over the Starlancer Max, which has 1 size 3 shield, and it comes with an industrial grade C stronghold, the same that these ships come with. So you already have twice the shields on this ship. The cooler on the ship, it is a single size 3 Blizzard. And it does say coolers right here. I guess I couldn't read earlier. That one says shield generator. Moving on to the other side, the batteries. I don't think we're going to have anything in this compartment. And over here, the power plant. The power plant, excuse me, is a single size 3 Centurion power plant versus the Max, which has 2 size 2 LuxCore competition grade A power plants. This guy is a military grade C power plant. Yeah, it's a military component, but grade C is not any better than anything else. The grade A's are. And the battery compartments are, of course, empty because we don't have that type of gameplay in. Fire extinguisher we'll be able to use one day. And that's really it for this rear engineering area. Now moving forward, we have a port side and a starboard side passageway and a center passageway. Going through the center of the second deck. I don't know what that is. This looks like this is the little hangar area. I believe the TAC is a very small hangar. Yes. I think it's actually pretty neat. Oh, I like the green lights when the hangar doors open. It can easily fit a MISC Fury in here. I don't know if it'll fit a Pisces or anything like that. Maybe you might be able to wedge one in there, but definitely designed around having the Fury or other very small ships like that. Probably like a Razor, Dragonfly, stuff like it. Maybe a Dragonfly. I'd put that in the cargo bay. But yeah, I like this. I like the ability of it has a very small hangar. You can see that the red lights are flashing, and when the hangar is fully locked, the red lights are solid. So kind of a cool feature for the ship. And you can't move forward after this. This is not a door here, so we do have to exit the hangar the way we came in. And we will move around one side. We do have some windows. An elevator. This is where the elevators are on each side, so you can call the elevator up to this deck. And moving around, we're basically midships right here. So this is the crew recreation area. This is the mess deck. Manual process access. Cool, really cool features of stuff we can't do. But yeah, here's the table, and here is the galley with a fridge, stovetop, very, very small galley for the ship. Okay. I mean, there's not much to it, right? It's a galley. I wish this was a porthole we could see out of. That would be neat. Be able to have the crew be able to see out of a window there. But alas, nope. This is probably a restroom. Yep. So in here is a full shorelet, shower and a toilet right next to the mess decks. So if you gotta go, you gotta go. Moving on to the port side, there's nothing on the starboard. Looks like crew quarters over here. This is a gun locker. Hunt the Polaris. No, not right now. If I bring out my FS9, looks like I can place it right there. So I do have storage for a larger weapon, and I do have storage for a smaller weapon. Here is a parallax rifle. So I like that very much. And I will grab my rifles again and store them. Now, as far as a handgun goes, there we go. I should have storage up there for my Coda, and I do. So I think the ship does have 2 weapons racks, so that should come in handy. Now, in here is the crew quarters right next to the mess decks, as we can still hear other ships taking off. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bunks. Just enough for the stormtroopers to load up into that dropship area with the guns. Unfortunately, the game is not built so that we can actually have our friends log out in our ship and wake up. So it's cool to have crew quarters, but other than us sleeping there, they serve absolutely no purpose. We can open this up and access our ship storage again. So tons of places to access ship storage. Is this another restroom over here? Yep, another restroom with a toilet. So 2 bathrooms right next to the crew quarters. I don't know if there's a captain's quarters or anything like that. We're going to find out. Moving forward some more. We end up, here's the ladder. This is where we came up. This is the life support and gravity generator. With completely empty. That type of gameplay is not in here yet. Here is the elevator that goes up and down, the main elevator. And moving forward, we have the escape pods, the evacuation chambers. And is there 8 of these? I only see 4. Maybe 2 people can fit in them. I don't know, because there's 8 beds, so I guess that would only make sense. And now we're finally on the bridge. I just want to, before we go to the bridge, I want to double check the elevator, make sure I'm not missing a floor for some reason. There should only be 2 decks, with the hangar being that very top deck. And yep, I just see upper and lower. So yep, there is, in fact, only 2 decks, upper deck, lower deck. So moving into the bridge, here we see two stations here. These are for the remote turrets. Coming into this remote turret seat on the port side. I do like that it has a window here. The UI is pretty neat. We can enter a remote turret, power off. I was already powered on apparently. I guess we can open doors from here? Ah, it's a blast door. Okay. I like that. I like that. I mean, it's flavor because glass is unbreakable in Star Citizen, but it's cool. Let's go ahead and enter the remote turret. So these are going to be those turrets that are on the top. At least this one's on the top of the ship. This should have a... Well, I can't fire anything. This shouldn't have missiles on it. Maybe it does have missiles on it. Let's power off. And we will power back on, cycle power, see what happens.
Hello, how can MISC help you today?
Turn everything on, see how that goes.
Weapon systems on.
Okay, let's see what happens now when we enter the remote turret. This may be a missile turret, but it does say guns. Ah, now our guns work. Okay. So guns firing all over. This is definitely the top of the ship. So this will get targets on the top of the ship. moving out of this remote turret and into this remote turret. Is this the bottom of the ship or the rear of the ship? I'm not sure. We'll find out. So this is another gun turret, but it's on the rear of the ship. So again, this is top coverage for the ship, but it's towards the back. I can't even see the forward turret because the little top wing here is denying me access. Now, what I would imagine is the co-pilot up here has the remote turret for the missiles. This is the ship's computer. Empty. The gameplay doesn't exist. And radar and relay, once again, probably... Oh no, there's something in there, but we can't do anything with it. And there's another fuse panel up there. Okay, so here we are on the bridge. Pilot seat, there's no captain seat. Everybody's just crew. So this pilot seat and co-pilot seat. Let's hop in the co-pilot seat first. I made it known I'm not a huge fan of the Cylon display. Cylon display meaning the very thin band here. I like more glass on my cockpits because they're hard to see out of. They look fine when they're in the hangar, but when there's not a lot of light around, they're very hard to see out of. So other than that, it's kind of a standard display that you'd see on a Starlancer Max. Same type of deal. We have exit. We have access to our MFDs. Power off. Enter remote turret. So we'll go ahead and enter the remote turret. Where is this turret? Is this on the rear? Yes, these are the remote turrets on the rear that are the missile turrets on the rear. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble if I shoot missiles or not. No, it won't let me shoot missiles. Probably got to lock onto something first. But at least it gives the co-pilot, you know, a little bit more function than just sitting there doing power management. And finally, into the pilot seat, where most solo players live, including me a lot of times. So, from the pilot seat, let's check out what we have. We have a really cool steering wheel, but nothing works as far as interactions. Our buttons are flight ready, engine on, which is already on. It looks like our MFDs are not on. But we'll go ahead and power off the ship. Oh no, I guess I hit you and maybe I powered on this MFD. Not making any sense, but okay. We definitely do have two shields. So with two shields on, and those shields being industrial, we do have some extra headroom for the shields. We can get our guns up fairly high if we balance power all the way. That's where we're at. We have 5 energy boxes left, so I'd recommend upgrading your power plants because you only get 1 extra gun tick over here. The rest of our buttons here, we got engine and power. Over here on the left, we have exit. I don't see anything for open exterior. Definitely not those over there. I don't see anything on the top. If I missed it and you guys see where the open exterior is and I'm just missing it, please let me know. Would expect to have that here, especially from the pilot seat, or at least the co-pilot seat. But yeah, looks like brand new ship needs a gold pass because a lot of the buttons don't work. Door lock, door open. Sorry, I'm still looking for open exterior in case I missed it. I definitely don't see anything up top or the switches on the side or anything like that. So that's too bad. That got through quality control somehow. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the Starlancer TAC, the basic tour here. Give you a quick outside look at the ship before we take off and see how she flies. It is a beefy ship and it does look pretty good. I do wish we had access to open the hangar, open the exterior from the pilot seat. But then again, I'm brand new to the ship, so maybe I missed it. Let's open up our hangar. Might be in a queue. Nope. Complete. We'll go ahead and lift up. Our landing gear, very flat, tricycle configuration. We'll hit N. The gear comes up real slow. We're tracked straight up. Yeah, it looks like it's nighttime here at ARKUL. As we slowly raise up. Good looking ship. I will definitely give it that. Let's see what the engines look like with some power. There we go. Sounds pretty good too. We'll see what they look like with some boost. Not that impressive, but again, it is a big ship. So this is why I don't love the really thin viewport here. I like the radar. I like the way it looks like it's scanning. But the thin view here, it's okay. I like the yellow in contrast with it. The problem with the thin view is when it's dark out, especially in space, your view is so limited of what you can see, and I like more glass. It forces me to fly in third person, which is fine. I like flying in third person, but this game is really not designed to fly in third person, and you can't really do anything in third person either. So when we get up into space, I'll shoot off some of the pilot weapons, and we'll go from there. So I'll meet you up in space. Okay, so we're now up in space, and I just turned our mode back to gun mode from navigation mode, basically. There we go, small hiccup there. Okay. I guess we're back up in space, and I turned our mode back into gun mode from nav mode. And again, don't love the way the thin view looks, but it is what it is. We'll go ahead and shoot the guns. You can see that they are, and they feel like laser cannons instead of laser repeaters. A view from the outside of the ship. Okay. A full load of with your shields in double power mode and with one tick on guns, it looks like we're gonna get 24 shots. If we were to max our guns out all the way, yep, maxed out, we're gonna get 31, 32, 38 shots. So we'll get 38 shots before needing to recharge. But that is quite powerful. Those are size 4s. But I kind of like this configuration here. One extra shield, one extra gun. I still feel 22 is pretty good for size 4s. What else? What am I forgetting? Let's check movement. Now I know, as I'm going to just get up to SCM speed. I know that the max speed of this ship in SCM should be, well, let me look it up because I forgot it. It was in my head. It is slower than the max. I can tell you that for sure. I think it's 110. Yeah, right around 110 SCM speed. Where I think the Starlancer max was 135 at SCM. Now the boost max here should be about 305. Let's give that a shot. Boost is lasting pretty good while. Well, maybe it is 305, but we're hitting 278 for the max boost. And that's fine. We'll check the SCM speed. I'm sorry, the navigational speed. As we transition into quantum mode. I have this listed at 915 on SC Ship's Performance Viewer. We'll see what it is. Let me add a little bit of boost to see if we can get there quicker. It's taken a while to get up there, which is understandable. It's a big ship. So that date is correct, 915 for the maximum speed of the ship. And it kind of, I don't know if you heard it, but it kind of howls when it's moving. I like the sound effects to it quite a bit. Quite a bit. Okay, well, let's reduce our speed down very slowly. I'm not sure what else to show you here for kind of a first look. We can do some flying in on a moon, see how it maneuvers and turns, but in SCM mode, overall compared to the Max, it's not going to be as agile, but it's fairly close, right? So the propulsion is less, the rotation speed is less, but it has significantly more shields. It has a little bit higher hull durability, and total health pool is significantly higher, about 116,000 hit points compared to the Max at 84,000. It also has more stuff to break off of it. It weighs significantly more as far as mass is concerned, right? 738,000 kilograms versus about 500,000 kilograms. The dimensions exactly the same, and significantly less cargo space there in the back. They have the exact same fuel tank capacities, so the hydrogen fuel and the quantum fuel are the same between the Starlancers. This thing does take a little bit more time to insurance claim, as always. It's newer and everything. We haven't had the post-sale nerf yet. It may take even longer in the future. Is this a better ship than something like the... What is this competition? The Corsair? Let me look at this compared to the Corsair. You know, we may take a deeper look at that towards the end of this video, and I'll bring up performance viewers, and we'll take a deeper look at some ship comparisons. We know the data is fairly accurate. So for now, let's head on down to a moon, and we'll check maneuverability. In space, everything's, it is what it is in space. I want to see what it's like on a moon. So stand by and we'll be right back. But here we are flying around some of the mountains of Lyria. Very, very bright out there at Lyria. And the ship feels about what it weighs. I didn't realize I was that low, of course. Sometimes it's hard to judge where a ship truly is, depending on how you fly it, right? It doesn't feel bad. It feels like it's maybe a bit too heavy. It is a little bit slower in response than the Max. Now this is in nav mode. Let me switch over to SCM mode. You can hear the engine spool down, and I'm moving quite a bit slower now. I'll reset the camera. Throw some boost out there. I feel like it wants to drop. And overall, just a slow moving ship. Maybe that's the trade-off, having all the firepower that it has, especially down below. But you're not, I mean, it's not a dogfighter, right? It's ideally made for ground assault, or like a bunker assault. kind of like a very heavily armed dropship. And that does make sense, although it does turn pretty tight. Heavily shielded, not super heavily armed, or armored, I should say. It's very heavily armed. Not heavily armored, but it is heavily shielded. 2 size 3 shields is no joke. Not quite capital level, but you know, it's approaching that level, I think. So coming in, like if we're going to do a hot drop with troops in the bay ready to go, SCM is on, guns are firing. As the pilot, I need to come in. There's a safe landing area right there. I'm going to drop the gear. Say stand by. Go, 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 go. Boom. Bounced when it landed, of course, because there's infinite hardness in games. Go, 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 go. I can't open the doors for him from the pilot seat, which completely sucks. Maybe you can keybind that. I don't know, probably. But it stinks that I don't have that button in here where I can just open all doors and just have everybody evacuate. Then everybody's off, gear up, and bounce out. So I don't know, we'll have to try it on stream, try it in some ops, see how it goes, see how effective it is, and go from there. But for now, let's go log out in space, and I'm gonna find the, well, I may go load up a Fury in here. Yeah, let's go do that. Let's go load up a Fury, and then we'll do the ship comparisons. Stay tuned. In my Fury, and I want to go land inside my Starlancer TAC. Obviously easier said than done, especially in third person. We need a landing camera. It is literally just Fury sized. Of course, made for it though. MISC and MISC, right? And yaw it a little bit. And it's in. The Fury here is, it fits really well on this pad, and you can see the outline of the pad. It's made Fury, so it does fit really well. Inside the hangar, just right. So hey, you got a snub fighter. Definitely it doesn't come with it like a Constellation, but then again, the Merlin and the Archimedes all fall off the Constellation anyway, so at least this thing will stay in your hangar. This is definitely a comparison ship to the Connie, both in cargo, in size, in scope, but this thing definitely is made for much more of a dropship than the Connie. The Connie's a little bit more utility. This ship is definitely better, and it's more expensive in real money and in, I'm sure, ship money. So that's it. The hangar is closed, and we are ready to take off. As another ship's coming in. We're gonna leave the 2D clouds of Lyria behind. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go log out in space, and then I'm gonna bring up the performance viewer. We're gonna compare this ship to some ships that are like it, and just see how we go, and then we'll take a quick look at the ERKUL, and I'll go over my recommended upgrades for this ship and the differences that it'll make, and we'll end the video. I'm not doing any combat in this video because it's pretty subjective. I'd like to do a future comparison of these gun ships And if you want to see a gunship comparison, to include the Starlancer TAC, things like the Constellation, maybe the upcoming Anvil Asgard, things like that, Redeemer, Corsair, please let me know, and I will put it on the docket. Other than that, I'll see you at the ship comparison. Thanks for watching. All right, folks, so welcome back. Here we are at SC Ships Performance Viewer, and let's take a look at the MISC Starlancer TAC versus something which I think it's kind of in competition with, the Drake Corsair. Starlancer is in red, Corsair is in blue. We can see just in speed that the Corsair is faster, both the nav speed and SCM and boost speed. The propulsion for the Corsair looks to be better as well. We're missing some data from the TAC because it's so new. When we look at the boost multiplier, fairly even across the board. The TAC is a little bit better at backwards, up and down. The Corsair is faster forward. Axis rotation speed. Again, the triangles, there's nothing that really stands out. The TAC is at 27, the Corsair is at 30. The Corsair is, obviously, it can maneuver better. Shield-wise, Drake versus MISC, right? That's a kind of a no-brainer, but with two size 3 shields, the TAC is much more shielded, 126,000 shield hit points versus 48,000. The whole hit points for the body, the TAC at 38,000 and the Corsair at 15,000. TAC is much more durable, shield and hull wise. Total health pool, 116,000 versus the Corsair at 91,000. It also has more parts that can break off. It's also a bigger ship, right? I do like the Corsair and what it can do, and it sort of got unnerfed, but all in all, the TAC is probably the more heavily armed ship. Definitely made for a bigger crew as well. It has a hangar. It weighs a lot more, so it's a lot harder to maneuver. Space, and it just feels heavier as well. We know that the TAC has 96 SCU of cargo. The Corsair only has 72, so the TAC is also a better ship when it comes to cargo. I don't know the emissions, and I didn't even pay much attention when I was making the video, so apologies for that. I never thought if you were going to have the TAC that you'd be worried about stealth, as it is anyway. Fuel tank capacity, the Corsair, much more hydrogen fuel and much more quantum fuel. It is a little bit more of an explorer ship. It's not really geared for combat per se. It can do combat. It's just, it is kind of a Constellation competitor, right? So it can do more of the exploration gameplay. It's going to have more gas. Not worried about fuel flow, or necessarily boost. The Corsair takes longer to insurance claim, so go figure on that. Those are just some basic comparisons there. And here's the chart if you want to see it. Corsair is much better at flight time, speed. It's a little bit more maneuverable as is, and the TAC is better with its shields. The TAC is actually stealthier than the Corsair, it looks like, and more total hit points. So a lot more geared towards combat versus exploration. So let's compare it to the Constellation Andromeda. Again, the Connie is in blue here with the TAC remaining in red. The speed is fairly close, with the Connie being faster in nav speed, boost, and SCM speed. Overall, better propulsion, so it's a lot more maneuverable. Very similar to the Corsair. The TAC, again, much more shields. The TAC overall for its hull durability is higher, but the total health pool, that's surprising. The TAC total health pool, not counting the shields, just the body and stuff, looking at 116,000 with the Connie Andromeda at 180,000. So maybe more armor plating on the in lore, right, for the Connie. The TAC is still significantly bigger than the Connie. They both have their own stub fighter, so that's why I bring this up. Both have the same cargo grid. The Connie is better with gas. It has more hydrogen fuel, more quantum fuel. And again, it's geared a bit more towards exploration. And there is just flat out less to do in the Connie. It's a much older ship. And it wasn't, I don't, when they were doing that kind of stuff, I think it needs a rework because it is one of their bigger sellers, even being as old of a concept as it is. So here we go. Let's compare it to a Redeemer from Aegis, a fairly new ship, especially when compared to the Connie. The Redeemer is geared much more for combat. The Redeemer is faster in SCM boost and in nav speed, and it's faster in propulsion all around. Significantly faster in maneuvering in its rotational speed, 115 compared to 60 for the TAC. Shielding. The Redeemer does not have great shields. The TAC has phenomenal shields. 2 size 3s is just fantastic for this type of a ship. Hull durability is much higher, and the total health pool is much higher on the TAC. So made more for ground assault, I guess, than I would say space assault. The Redeemer is much better, I would say, in space assault. That goes to show the Redeemer much less in the total health pool there. The TAC is much larger, weighs a lot more. It actually has cargo storage, so it can a little bit more of a multi-role in the TAC. And the Redeemer is better in hydrogen fuel, worse on quantum fuel, like significantly worse on quantum fuel. So it's kind of an enigma here. They don't compare real great. Sort of the same role, but sort of really different roles too. I am curious comparing the TAC to the new Anvil Asgard, but right now we can kind of compare it to the Valkyrie, maybe. Valkyrie being a dropship, and a halfway designed ship to assault the ground, but it's smaller and it's much faster, significantly faster. The TAC is just better all around, right? Way more shields, more hull durability, way more hit points for it. It's way bigger, holds more crew. The cargo grid size is roughly similar, 96 for the TAC, 90 for the upgrade, 90 for the Valkyrie. Valkyrie way better in hydrogen fuel than the TAC, and way worse in quantum fuel. So there we go. There's a quick comparison. Let's switch over to ERKUL and check out what ERKUL has to say. Okay, up on the screen we have the Starlancer TAC out of ERKUL.games, the DPS calculator. We can see that the weapons that the Starlancer TAC comes with are the M6A laser cannons, size 4s. There's a total of 4 of them that the pilot can control. And then 2 sets of 6 missiles each for the co-pilot to control. The remote turrets, which are the stations in the back of the bridge, those both have a set of, and one's on the top and one's in top front, one's in the top back. And one of them has 2 size 4 laser repeaters. And the other one, same guns. The 2 man turrets, the big turrets that are on the bottom on each side, those are for the ground assault stuff. Those are CF557 Gauderines. 2 of them each, so that's a lot of firepower right there. The missile racks that the missiles that this thing comes with are 16 size 3 electromagnetic Thunderbolt 3 missiles. The shields on this thing, I keep mentioning the shields because 2 size 3 shields is a big deal in a ship like this. So I don't want to say think of it like a Carrack because it's not an exploration ship, but it's got a small hangar that fits a snub ship and a way ship. It's got 2 size 3 shields. It's got a crew area. It can do a lot of stuff. It's got cargo capacity. It can carry vehicles. It can carry cargo. It's got a lot of firepower. I mean, if you're going to go raid a bunch of bunkers, Starlancer TAC is a very good option for that. It comes with a single size 3 Centurion military grade C power plant, 1 size 3 military grade A Blizzard cooler, which is a really good component. And I'm surprised we're getting a military grade A component with a civilian ship. It has a pretty weak quantum drive and the Sparkfire competition grade C. I don't like competition grade quantum drives. The radar, which one day we may be able to exchange out, is a Surveyor Industrial Grade A. Then we have all our thrusters over here. The other stats on the ship, size 5, if you care about sizes for ships. It says crew size 1 on ERKUL. It's really a crew size of 8. 8 comfortably. Probably, you could have 8 ground troops. You could have a pilot, co-pilot. You could have 2 remote turret operators, and then 2 manned turret operators. So that's 14, roughly, easily. You could put 14 people in the ship, and everybody except really the co-pilot has a job to do. And you could even have 16 if you have 2 door gunners that aren't shock troops. So 8 to 16 people easily in the ship, easily. What else? The hit points 116,000. We talked about that. 96 SCU of cargo. It's very heavy, not great on gas. Yeah, so let's talk about upgrades. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of these M6A laser cannons. Let's keep in mind our DPS right now, 1940 for guns. I'm going to get rid of these, and I'm going to put on attrition 4s. You can see the difference in the DPS. One, I like laser repeaters as a preference anyway, but 1,302 DPS compared to 960 with the laser cannons. So yeah, I'm going to take a almost 350-ish point upgrade per gun, or per double guns there. So that's a big difference for me. And it ups our total DPS to 2,584. And that's just pilot controlled right now, right? I don't imagine the pilot's going to be doing a whole heck of a lot assaulting the base. They really should be concerned with flying and managing the shields and which way you're going to turn and face. But if you have to do some space combat or something like that, pilot's definitely going to be involved. Let's continue on with guns. In the remote turrets, again, I like the laser repeaters, but let's get rid of those and let's put on attrition 4s. We go from 591 DPS to 1273. That's huge. Notice 1273 up there too. So yeah, we're going to take the extra 700 plus damage per set of repeaters. Now the CF557 Galderines, those are good. Guess what's better? I'm seeing a trend here. Attritions are better. You're going from 854 DPS to 2,000 DPS. So yes, you get rid of the Galderines and you put on attrition 5s. This is going to be an expensive upgrade all the way around. And we can see our turret damage is 6,516 now. That's insane. That's a lot of turret damage. Now let's talk about missiles. I do like infrareds overall, but the Rattlers give the most damage, but the Rattlers just don't seem to work that great for me. When they do work, they're great because they're cluster missiles. But if I'm just gonna buy a good old missile that does pretty good damage, I prefer the Bullet 2s. So I'm gonna recommend that you upgrade to the infrared Bullet 2s. For the for the co-pilot controlled missile racks that face backwards. For the pilot controlled missiles, these are size 3s. Again, I'm going to recommend the Chaos 3 missile. And it doesn't give us a ton more damage, but it does a little bit. And I would actually recommend that you mix it up. Keep some EMs and keep some infrareds and keep that basically the same, just in case you care about emissions, right? The shields. The stronghold shields are good, but the best size 3 shield is the parapet, right? Pretty sure they haven't changed that in this patch. Yeah, they're even better than the military shields. So I would go with the parapet for both of them. You're talking about, I don't know, 6,000 to 7,000 more, something like that. Quick math. I'm not a math whiz. Okay, if we look at our efficiency as far as power goes, military grade C is pretty good, right? But it's not great. We're not going to be able to throw a JS 500 on there, okay? And that's at 25 for power anyway. Oh, what we really want is, I don't think we can get it anymore in a size 3. We can't get any competition size 3s. So we're looking for the most power that we can get that we can afford. We're not going to get any military drives because you have to earn those. So there's a Durango with 24 power. Set that. So it comes with a Centurion at 24. The Durango gives you 24, but that's going to push you in the same ballpark. So I guess you're sticking with Centurion, military grade C. An upgrade for that is going to be like a JS 500 or a quadricell, giving you 1 more power generation. But we're going to leave that as is. The coolers, military grade A with 23 cooling. I think that's fine. I don't foresee the coolers being an issue, especially at size 3. Maybe when we have more options. But I'm just looking right here. I think back in the day, the Ice Flush or the Chill Max were some of the best ones. We go with the Chill Max. That's a lot more cooling generation, but it also takes more power. I'd probably just keep that as a Blizzard. The Quantum Drive, 100% needs to be upgraded. If you're going to upgrade anything, upgrade the Quantum Drive from Sparkfire. And this one, I believe, for size 2, we're going to go with the Chimera. There it is. So it's the civilian size 2. It's called the Chimera. It's a really good option. It's a good price. It's the fastest civilian drive. In size 2, it's a grade A, and it's significantly faster, both in cooldown, I think spool up times, and it's faster, just faster than the competition drive. So if you're going to upgrade anything, start with a quantum drive. And there we go. Significantly more powerful ship. Let's see how much it's going to cost to actually do this upgrade. Yeah, not cheap. 2.5 million alpha UEC to do this full upgrade. If you don't do a lot of missile gameplay, you can skip the missiles. And that's 2.4 million. Missiles are not that expensive. The big cost on this is going to be getting all attritions. I would say at a minimum, the pilot would need attritions. Probably get those size 5s for the man turret. You could go off the 447s for the remote turrets. I think you're fine with that. You don't have to upgrade the shields. I mean, you're looking at about 8,000-ish shield hit points in total if you upgrade those shields above what we already have. So it's not like a requirement or anything. And they're expensive, right? They're 273,000. So let's take the shields off. Definitely want the quantum drive. You're still at 2 million alpha UEC, which is quite a bit. If you were to go down to just 4 attrition 4s and 4 attrition 5s and a quantum drive, now you're much more manageable, 1.6 million alpha UEC. So there we go. There's my recommendations overall for the ship. I like the ship. I think it's a cool ship. I think it's a very neat concept. I do like when ships are brand new and they have all the new features. I'm very surprised. I didn't see where you could open all doors as the pilot, and that really concerns me. I looked for it for quite a while and didn't find it. So don't like that. I don't love that the hangar is really specifically Fury sized, but I get it. You know, MISC, BISC. Yeah, it's. I didn't really like logging out in the bed. It was more difficult than normal to find the proper ladder to do the logout on. I was always ended up looking at the wrong ladder or just the wrong get up marker. You have to really look at the ladder that you climbed up on before you can do the logout. So a tip I didn't show on the video. And I mean, overall, cool ship. Probably going to be the best ground assault ship. We'll see what the Asgard looks like with the anvil, but it looks beefy and it looks fun, and I want to try it out in multi-crew. Not a great solo ship. The Max would be a much better solo ship if you're going to run cargo and stuff like that. There's just not enough to justify the solo-ness of this, because you're not really going to do a lot of exploring in the TAC. It is highly geared for combat, but very, very defensive minded. A lot of whole hit points, a lot of shields. If you are trying to do any type of solo stuff and you upgrade your guns to attritions, I mean, definitely could do something, but it's not a good mover. So I mean, if you're dogfighting bigger ships, maybe, but let me know how your experience goes with it, and we'll end the video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video if you enjoyed this content. If you want to see more, if you want to see like a comparison of different gunships, ground assault ships, things like that, please hit me up. Let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching, and good night, Stan.